Unity alert today. Nancy Pelosi says that Republicans are the enemy within in Congress, which is weird because, again, I thought that we were all about unity and tolerance now in 2021. And also, we've got liberals seeking mental health treatment due to the trauma of Trump's presidency. I have a feeling I have just the guests to tackle these issues of the day. The news and why it matters starts right now. Welcome to the News and Why It Matters. Happy Friday. I am Sarah Gonzalez, today joined by Elijah Schaffer, host of Slightly Offensive here on BlazeTV. Running from the law, Elijah Schaffer.
Yeah, it's always nice. I always tell the audience, it's nice that if I'm here, you know that the FBI has not gotten me yet. So this is a good day for at least me.
Yes, and also joined once again by Dave Rubin, host of The Rubin Report, which you can see on BlazeTV, also on YouTube as well.
And I'm just honored to be at a table with someone running from the law.
Well, I keep telling Elijah, if the FBI is going to come capture him, I'd like for it to be on my show because ratings.
Oh, God.
Right?
The clicks. Oh, my God.
Ratings.
And then plug your YouTube on the end of it, you know?
Yeah.
Follow me for more content.
I mean, your life might be ruined, but hey.
Yeah.
All right, headlines of the day. Nancy Pelosi, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, apparently she missed the unity memo, I guess, from Joe Biden because she blasted her colleagues in Congress, going so far as to disparage Republican lawmakers, claiming the enemy is within the House of Representatives. Nancy Pelosi talking about the enemy. This was during her weekly news conference. She addressed several topics, including the impeachment of Donald Trump. She talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, which I would love to get your thoughts on her. She's kind of a wild card, that one. And the possibility of adding more security at the U.S. Capitol to protect Democrats against GOP Congress members. Do we have a clip of this or? Okay, great. So here is Nancy Pelosi during her weekly news conference.
Today, when I meet with General Honore, he is looking at members here, members at home, and in between. So we want to have a scientific approach to how we protect members. I do believe, and I have said this all along, that we will probably need a supplemental for more security for members when the enemy is within the House of Representatives.
Now, she's alluding to the fact that there are some members of Congress who have said that they want to carry a firearm on themselves when they enter into the building. And she says that these are the same people who have threatened violence on other members of Congress, which is, again, weird because I think I missed that in the news, direct threatening of violence. But we do also have AOC saying that Ted Cruz tried to have her murdered. So what is truth and facts and all of that anyway, Elijah?
Well, when Nancy Pelosi wakes up out of her coffin every morning and she puts on her Darth Vader mask that, looks like lungs moving in and out, is very, very uncomfortable. But at least we don't have to see any more of, her face that's always a little tighter than most people. I'm not making any accusations.
Also, you can't see the teeth falling out.
Yeah, it's nice to know that she's still with us and she's here. Her and Biden are still alive and well. And you hear this kind of rhetoric, and what's funny is, when she talks about unity and healing and this idea of, not wanting even a Republican congresswoman to have a gun on them because, basically they're a threat to Congress. You have to ask yourself this, that's kind of a threat in itself. Yes. Like when you're characterizing somebody as saying that we think if you have a gun that you're going to kill us, you're endangering their life because you're making their reputation to the American people seem as though Republicans are dangerous. And that's what AOC's rhetoric shocked me the most on, is when you make a claim that Ted Cruz tried to get me killed. What that means is that Ted Cruz is a danger not only to AOC, but to her constituents, to the American people, and it makes Ted Cruz a target. So by sounding like and virtue signaling like they are about peace and unity, they're actually, I say it's a dog whistle, they're calling for violence on the right wing.
Well, for the record, when they say heal, we think they mean H-E-A-L. Heal, let's mend the wounds. But they actually mean H-E-E-L, which is heal, like heel to a dog.
That actually is true.
Yeah, down,
Yes.
sit down,
Yes.
roll over.
Comply.
Maybe we'll get you a treat if you behave. That's what they really mean. But actually, you're totally right about that. And it's worse than just what she's doing to Cruz. It's what she's doing to half of America. If every time you have a political position that you stake out there, if it somehow turns out that everyone who disagrees with you is a white supremacist, then perhaps you have a fake political position or a fake view of the world, right? But think about it. Okay, if you're now saying that half of these people, they're white supremacists, they're Q followers, they're conspiracy theorists, they suffer from disinformation and misinformation and all of the rest of it, what are you signaling to the other Americans? You're telling them, what did she just say? The enemy is within. And then the craziest part of that thing there was when she said that they need a scientific approach to it. Like they've glorified science to the point that they just say the word science or scientific as if it matters. You need a scientific approach to security? You mean you need an approach to security like we got to secure the building? We need a scientific, A squared plus B squared equals we're gonna have a lot of guns out here. Like none of this makes any sense, but they do exactly what they accuse all of us doing all the time. You know, after the Capitol Hill thing happened, every single person on the right condemned it, like without question. Everyone condemned it. Everyone condemned Q. You were on my show a couple days later saying that these actually were, you know, people that were on the far right and that they should be condemned and all that. Everyone did it. And yet it's still not enough. They think they've got the in. You know what I mean? They basically see the blood in the water and it's like, okay, people think that Republicans are scary. Let's really freaking scare them now. And that's what she's good at. And she's scary. She's a scary woman.
Well, that is a good point, too, because that is consistently what they do. I mean, it's what they did with George Floyd. I felt like there was a very overwhelming sense of unity in everyone was like, wow, this is really bad. This, you know, if the video came out, everyone said, yeah, this looks really bad. I didn't really hear any apologists for it. And yet still, there were riots, there were, you know, the burning of buildings. We watched it happen all summer. And at the end of the day, you're like, well, hold on. No one ever said that you guys were wrong to want more answers on this.
Yeah, but here's what's important, and this is what we provide here at Blaze. You know, I work hard to get a lot of contacts in these departments, like in the Capitol Police, inside of the Park Police, and inside Secret Service. And believe it or not, the law enforcement departments of our country are about as leaky as a 1970s faucet. You know, they give a lot of information out, and I'm glad that we have that transparency. And what I've been finding is that even from the very day this happened, one of the greatest fears inside of the Senate chamber when they were voting in the House was that the people thought that the Republican law enforcement, because up to 84% of law enforcement are Republicans, that they were going to turn on them and start actually killing them. And that was being spread. Now, there was no evidence of that. There's never been an FBI investigation to insinuate that a law enforcement officer, because he voted against you, would somehow use his oath to create some sort of a coup against the government is not only insulting to law enforcement, it's insulting to humans, but it's also creating and stoking massive division. And so what they're doing is they're saying, well, it's a time to heal. But like you said, they're actually right now aligning their security based on political party. We've seen that with the National Guard, that you have to be a Democrat to be near the president. This doesn't unite us. If you can't even unite under security and you can't even trust the people that took an oath, I mean, it's like, can you trust your doctor? Can you trust anybody? You're dividing the nation down the middle. And it scares me, though. It scares me because while we know this was the most legitimate election in U.S. history, not only according to Facebook and Instagram, but according to a lot of unconfirmed sources, it was the most.
Somebody really wants to stay on YouTube. All right.
No, I
Just
said,
in case you didn't hear
I
YouTube.
said it's the most, and I would never question it, ever. But I will.
Science.
It's a scientific
It's
approach
scientific.
to it. I will just say that when we're watching right now, the manipulation of the stock market and the way things are being suppressed, I mean, I don't have a lot of trust in these people if they don't have any trust in us. And if they're afraid and think everyone around them is trying to kill them, it makes me wonder if you're projecting your guilt. What are you doing to where you're so afraid of everyone around you? What are you not showing us? And why do you think that people would want to hurt you?
Right.
Can I throw in a theory?
Please.
I think, well, they know no one's coming to kill them. They know it. What they're doing is they know their ideas are bad, but they're in on them. They're in on big government. They're in on big tech. They're in on censorship. They're in on all of these things. And I think keeping people hysterical, keeping the base They are literally, I mean, what she's saying is she's not just talking about law enforcement. She's saying that other members of Congress, that she's afraid that they're going to kill her. That's
wild.
That woman is eating way too much ice cream.
She is, and just to add this to the conversation, she did, as Democrats do, double down on her original remarks that we covered yesterday on the show. Ted Cruz basically said, there's a lot of partisan anger and rage, but, it's not really conducive to this unity that we keep talking about. And AOC had said, there's anger. Now, why would there be anger that Cruz amplified known lies about our election that fueled an insurrection that cost people's lives? What does he think the logical response to his lies should be? A hug? Maybe there's anger because his actions deserve accountability. And I read this and I just want to vomit all over the place hearing, a Democrat, AOC of all people, say maybe there's anger because his actions deserve accountability. I mean, where's the accountability for everything they've done for the last year? The
same people who tell us violence isn't violence,
right,
meaning if you burn down a building, that's not violence, are the ones who tell us that words are violence. So Ted Cruz can literally be like, hey, we agree on the GameStop stuff. Maybe we can figure this out. Let's try to work together. You want to murder me. They always have to ramp it up. And AOC truly, she is. And I don't want to instigate violence against her. I'm completely against political violence, as I was against political violence all summer or the last 5 years with Antifa, and I'm completely against it at the Capitol and everything else.
I think that's called
some sort of consistent.
Yeah,
I know. I'm old school. I'm a throwback.
We learn something new on Blaze every day. I haven't heard of that in politics.
I'm a throwback. But the point is, what she is doing is dangerous. It actually is dangerous. Like, that's not hyperbole, because it's to what you said before. It's like, if you keep doing it, then what are you really trying to do? What are you really trying to do? So then MSNBC will show you a building burning with explosions in the background, and Ali Velshi will stand there with a straight face and tell you that it's mostly peaceful. But if Ted Cruz wants to just talk about the election process, that's violent.
Yeah, and the one thing that I think is weird here too is that this insinuation with the amount of retweets that this got shows you they're in an information warfare, not
like
about actually governing, because everyone knows those claims aren't true, but through algorithms they're manipulating the masses to think that Republicans are genuinely out there. Cruz specifically is trying to kill this Hispanic woman, and that's what there's a white man from Texas trying to get an Hispanic blue collar woman killed.
His name is Cruz.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm saying what it is.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Because they're pushing with the white supremacy
Right.
movement, right? And this is the idea. It doesn't matter because it's internalized racism, internalized white supremacy, and it's projection. You get called all types of names too, and you're Hispanic. It doesn't matter. And that's to be said about all of this, is that they're not looking to govern. They're not looking to unite. They're going, we've dumbed down the country enough. Let's manipulate them so that they feel like they are hopeless, they're defenseless, and that the world is scary, and that they need our help to govern it and to organize it. So that when things like this financial crisis is happening today, with the powers, including the Secretary of Treasury, Yellen, being involved allegedly in the corruption scandal to short stocks against the American people and to rob us financially of our own investments, when the executive branch of the government is working in collusion with corrupt billionaires and elites to rig the economy and rig it against us, it's like, well, why is nobody talking about this? One thing I noticed is that AOC throughout all of this has mostly been talking about all this stupid racist, inequality, things that aren't really happening. And they're always just trying to distract people so that they can actually get away with the real problems and the real issues where they're screwing us, which starts at the stock market.
Yeah, the longer they talk about racism and white supremacy, the longer they can pretend like they're not screwing everything up in government. All right, we've got more to come. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Bonner Wines. So I don't know, for those of you who may be wine drinkers, you're going to appreciate these wines in particular, because down in Argentina, they have vineyards that are up at 9,000 feet. So, and by the way, there are everyone should get this wine, but let me just tell you, two sets of people in particular, all right? The people who really love wine, and also the people who are trying to stay healthy, or maybe you have a spouse who's like, you really need to eat and drink things that are healthier. Well, you know what, you can tell them, these wines are actually very, very healthy. There's no additives, no preservatives, and it's very low sugar. Okay, so let me just Really, it's the new year, so I'm going to help you out there. All right, they taste incredible. There's notes of blackberry, dark cherry, leather, smoke. They go great. They're red wine, so they go great with steak. If I had remembered at all, I would have brought one to have on the show because it is Friday, and we do try to do Friday happy hour here on the News and Why It Matters.
In my office.
Do you?
And I will bring one down to you at the end of the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I mean, it's Friday. We got to start it early. I got 2 kids at home. But really and truly, these are really great wines, and you can get them over at Cowgirl Wine 2021. They just got a special shipment of these wines in. They want to share them with you. You will get 50% off of the wine and 50% off of shipping. You don't even need a promo code, okay? All you have to do is go to cowgirlwine2021.com. That is cowgirlwine2021.com. Back in a minute. All right, we gotta derail a little bit here because during the break, Elijah just said he just got an alert that Black Lives Matter is being nominated for what now?
For a Nobel Peace Prize. Peace.
Like P-I-E-C?
Not taking a piece of concrete out of the sidewalk and throwing it through a window and then lighting it on the building on fire, which is very also true. That's a different kind of peace prize. In 2021. I'm reading right here from The Guardian that the Black Lives Matter movement was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. It says that Norwegian MP cites global impact of BLM in raising awareness and consciousness of racial injustice. It's quoted saying, I find that one of the key challenges we have seen in America, but also in Europe and Asia, is the kind of increasing conflict based on inequality. Black Lives Matter has become a very important worldwide movement to fight racial injustice. They have tremendous achievement in raising global awareness and the consciousness about racial injustice.
Wow, that's incredible.
Could you guys point out to me, I'm a simple guy, you know, I'm from another place, not here in Texas. Anything that Black Lives Matter has actually accomplished, I mean, other than creating strife, and
decimating
and taking money from people and creating a multi-billion-dollar, you know, giant corporate organization that when I open up my PlayStation 4, they offer me a BLM background, and every time, and you open up Uber Eats and they tell me to order from black people and blah 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 blah, which I have no, I don't
promoting
really care.
discrimination.
I don't really
order based off of a business of what the skin color of the owner is.
They literally do. I mean, that is an actual thing, right? You know, we now shop at black businesses. I don't care if I get my shirt, if it happens to be a black guy or a white guy, zippity damn doodah. But have they sent any black people to college? Have they built any buildings? Have they maybe some scholarships? Or I've been very busy because of the lockdowns.
Yeah, I have missed it if they have, but I did see that they twerked on
they did
on
twerk.
Washington. So I mean, hey. I mean,
and
who needs to
twerking
go
has
to,
its merits. I'm not going to sit here and,
you're talking about college. Please, they're doing the way more important.
I mean,
twerking.
have they bought school lunches
Listen,
for
guys,
any people?
I want to just hopefully encapsulate what anybody is watching this show right now and say that 2021 is turning out to predictably be what we all thought it was, like 2020 on steroids. It is so fun. And this is why I tell people, I said, at least when the global elites are back in power, we can predict what they're going to do, which is the opposite of everything that's sane, right, just, and true. So it's like, if you want to know what's going to happen next month, think of the exact opposite thing that should happen or that would make sense, and you are now officially a prophet. I don't recommend you making those claims on social media, but when you look at this and you go $2 billion, actually I saw recently it might be up to $4 billion because of damage that was done in the country because of $2 billion that can't be claimed by insurance, but $2 billion of claims, and we're going up to almost $3 billion now of insurance claims, over 24 lives lost, multiple police officers killed and injured, divided the country. I have liberal friends who are Caucasian who said they never thought about how they talked or spoke around black people, who now say that they're afraid to talk to black people because they don't want to be seen as, microaggressing and these things. So they actually, it's funny, they actually segregate away from people of color because they don't want to, cause a pain. And you see in schools now that we have all these black spaces and we've self-segregated our graduations like Harvard. I mean, Black Lives Matter is the exact epitome of our postmodern society collapsing, this empire in decline type of material. It's madness.
So let me ask you, before we move on, Dave, I want to ask you this. Black Lives Matter, okay, anyone can be, right, he was they were nominated, by this Norwegian guy, right? It was Norwegian?
Yeah.
So how much of that is our American media shaping these people's opinions because that's where they're getting their information from, and how much of it is just like, well, this is the culture we live in now.
Yeah, so I'm not an expert in Norwegian studies and what's exactly going on there as far as who is nominating who and everything, and also the story is just breaking. But like, this is just some probably middle management government guy who is just like, what can I say that will just like get me in the news? And then our media goes bananas, and then unfortunately we have to comment on it, thus, you know, sort of adding to the outrage of the whole thing. And it's like the Nobel Peace Prize couldn't be more irrelevant at this point. Let's not forget, they gave Barack Obama a Nobel Peace Prize before he was president, and when he had literally accomplished nothing, and then you can argue about the accomplishments of 8 years. And then they basically, once Trump was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, they basically were telling you how awful the Nobel Peace Prize is. So you are right about this sort of postmodern, everyone can take any position on anything at any given moment. And it's like we're all just like on this roller coaster that we know at some point they stop building the roller coaster. You know what I mean? Like, or it's like we're on the bridge. We all know at some point there's a chasm over there, and the bridge doesn't keep going. And we're all just like, all right, speed it up. Can we speed it up?
That's why I was going to say, like, I kept telling people with this whole stock market thing with GameStop and stuff, I go, if you want to disrupt the system, you know, trading on the stock market and cryptocurrency is a little more fun than rioting, and it's safer too, you know? You might not get the Nobel Peace Prize though for this one. I hope, you know, if in a just world, the GameStop subreddit, the Wall Street Bets would get the Nobel Peace Prize.
But you don't get the free TVs either, because when you're looting.
Who would you nominate?
But who would you nominate? In justice, you're allowed to take a 90-inch Panasonic.
But since we can all nominate Nobel Peace Prize, I nominate the Wall Street Bets people. Who do you nominate?
I pass on that question. I think they all suck. I'm not willing to give anyone that.
Antifa?
Right now.
Do you want to nominate Antifa?
Oh yeah, for sure. Antifa has done a lot of unity. All right, so there have been calls now for you can't make this stuff up, guys. Permanent Capitol fencing following the U.S. Capitol riots. Now, of course, they put up these temporary barricades and temporary fencing, and now acting U.S. Capitol Police Chief is now calling for permanent fencing surrounding the Capitol building. She said, in light of recent events, I can unequivocally say that vast improvements to the physical security infrastructure must be made to include permanent fencing and the availability of ready backup forces in close proximity to the Capitol. Now, a couple different things come to mind here. The first of which is I have yet to hear any details about any specific threats to the Capitol at this point. I don't know why we continue talking about it and no journalist is willing to say, well, what are the details of these threats? Number two, I think, is the more obvious one, which is I thought that we were supposed to, walls didn't work. We were not supposed to build walls.
Only
Borders
some
are bad.
people's walls don't work.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
it depends who wants the wall.
Really?
Yeah. Don't you know that about a wall?
Also,
no, it's very scientific that if a bad guy wants a wall, it's bad, and if a good guy wants a wall, it's a good wall. So it does. You're just looking at it as a structure. You have to think about it at a meta level. Good guys, good wall.
Social construct.
Yeah. Bad guys, bad walls. It's very simple. Good guys, good barbed wire.
Right.
Bad guys, bad barbed wire.
Yeah. Okay. Also, too, that walls work against American citizens, but they don't work against foreign nationals. So it's like if you're Hispanic, there's no need for a wall. But if you're let's say like some sort of a white right-wing person, then walls can stop you. And so that's the kind of fun of this too. I like that.
So we are more conniving, us Hispanics. We can get past anything.
You can get past, walls don't work. That's what they say. Southern border walls don't work.
Right.
And apparently Hispanics have some sort of trick to getting around walls that other Americans don't.
I'm not willing to share it.
But, this is absolutely insane. And I have to say that this is the year of the elites, because this is your show and it's family friendly. I will use a more kosher example, but of taking a raw fish and slapping us in the face and just telling us to suck up in life. They are no longer hiding their fascistic authoritarianism. They're just saying, you don't have control of your republic anymore. You don't have control of your institutions. We're going to rule and lead as we see fit, even if it benefits or doesn't benefit you. And you're just going to have to suck it up, even if it doesn't make sense. Who cares? Because we control the media, big tech. We can manipulate the masses and sit back and enjoy the ride as we implode your entire country. And I feel like that's what they're doing. And they're doing it in our faces. It's not even being hidden, and it's pissing me off.
Elijah, you're forgetting about the $600 they're giving us. Okay, so yes. Are they doing all of those things? Sure, but they also are giving us $600, okay? These are good people.
I'm not even Catholic, but I'm about ready to be like, all right, say my
Yeah.
I'm going to offend some Catholics, but I don't know which way we do it, but we're just going, I've got to ask for forgiveness there.
I mean,
600, man.
okay, but really, truly, let me give you the last word on this, Dave. Does the average American sitting at home watching this crap happen, all summer, again, buildings burned, businesses burned, entire cities were on fire, literally, everything's fine, nothing to see here. The moment Theyre, as Eric July likes to call them, cathedral.
Yeah.
The moment their cathedral
Yeah.
is, there's some breach in their security, all of a sudden, we've got to clamp down on it. Does the average American see how hypocritical this is?
Yes, the average American does, but the average American is not the media elite. The
Yeah.
average American is not the big tech guy. Right? The average American is the average American who has to live and try to get make it by and feed their family and go to work and all of those things. So I think the average American does see it, but it's a matter, again, of everything's through what the message is right now.
Yeah.
And it's our job as people that are outside of the mainstream to make sure that every time that monster just keeps getting bigger and bigger, it's like, we can't really contain the monster. We can't. We're trying. But the best we can do is just, if it really starts getting crazy, we can do our best to push it back.
Yeah.
And hopefully get more allies on our side that are willing to do it with us.
Yeah.
Real fast, I know we got to cut to a break, but I just want to remind people, just go back to articles about a year ago to when they put up a gate around the federal courthouse in Portland, and the Democrats argued that there was no need to put metal fencing around federal buildings. Why are we treating our federal buildings like we're in a war against our own people? Just to remind you to look back at Democrats that are protecting the Capitol now, argued against barriers at federal buildings.
You got
It happened.
$600. Let it go. Let it go.
We've got more to come. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Built Bar. And I legitimately I just ate one when we were on set. I didn't have time for lunch and I just grabbed one.
Where's mine?
I did give your wife one the other day.
She liked it a lot.
Did she? Good. This was mint brownie, but they've got, if you're a chocolate person, it's all covered in 100% chocolate, and it is healthier than probably whatever favorite protein bar you have. It's way healthier than that, okay? And also it doesn't taste like cardboard. So you're really moving up when you try Built Bar. It's low calorie, low sugar, high protein. It's really great for keto diet. I generally do keto, and this works great with my diet. So if you are one of many who maybe you made a New Year's resolution to lose some weight, maybe you're just looking to maintain, Built Bar is there to work for you. Most of them have only 130 calories, and like I said, they are delicious. You're going to think that you're eating a candy bar, so they are going to satisfy your cravings. All right, chocolate people, this is for you. Caramel brownie, cookies and cream, coconut almond, raspberry, peanut butter. I mean, you name it, they have got the flavor. All right, Built Bar has reset the promo code for this relaunch, so make sure that you take advantage of this. They are already very reasonably priced. You're going to get more off on top of that. All you have to do is go to BuiltBar.com, use promo code NEWS20 to get 20% off of your next order. Remember, I'm not saying Bill Barr, okay? Bill Barr has nothing to do with this.
Big issue on my show, Bill
yeah,
Barr.
they're all like, Bill Barr, what, you're selling him? No. You don't want to eat Bill Barr. You do want to eat Built Bar. It is BUILT bar.com. Promo code NEWS20 for 20% off. Back in a minute. The liberal outlet Vox is now recommending mental health treatment to recover from, of course, the psychological trauma of Trump's presidency. Vox's Anna North wrote, "His presidency is over, but the trauma isn't." It's now Trump has finally left office despite his constant threats that he wouldn't. I think I missed the memo on that one because I didn't ever really actually hear that threat come from him. But I digress. She says, but the impact on the American psyche of 4 years of racist rhetoric, incitements of violence, and out chaos remains. Like the impact of Trump's policies, that stress doesn't go away overnight, especially when the conditions that led to his election, systemic racism, anti-immigrant paranoia, and the rampant spread of misinformation are still very much a reality. She says that we all need mental health treatment to recover from this psychological trauma. You can't make this up. You cannot freaking make this up. I can't deal with it.
Are you doing okay? I just want to, let's just do a check-in here.
Yeah.
This is a safe space, You guys are here. Dave, how are you doing?
I actually have to pee a little. I've been doing a lot of shows all day. I'm drinking a lot of water, and I've been just so busy. So I do have to pee, but I don't think that's necessarily related to Trump.
No, I don't find it traumatic.
But if you want to blame it on him.
No, I do sort of want to blame it on him because the world is in such chaos because of him. I have to do more shows with less time in between, so I don't have time to pee. So that's one thing. Might I recommend, though, for now on, when you talk about Vox, I call them pox because there are pox on both our houses. You see, so if you want to go ahead and do that. But I would say beyond that, I'm mentally, I would say I'm okay at the moment.
You're okay? You survived?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm from California.
A lot of people praying for you, and we were just making sure, because I know we were all real worried about each other when Trump was leaving office. We weren't going to make it, and I remember when we all woke up that day, and we were alive, on the 21st, and we all text each other, and we're like, God is real, because the
world existed,
Yeah, and but on the funny note though, it's these people, they say that mental illness is a real problem in our country, and that this is not to make light of it, and that the mental health has declined. And I think that looking at Trump's term, we could also blame him for that if we want to, since it's popular. But it's like, you saw how bad the mental health of our country is over the last 4 years, how easily people were manipulated, and how they genuinely thought they were trading a fascist leader for a free, transparent president, when really Biden in his first week has been more fascistic than Trump was in 4 years. It's kind of sad, and they're not going to know because the news is going to hide it.
Yeah, well, and Dave, on your Friday show on YouTube, we talked a little bit about God and religion. I feel like this is like, politics is the left's religion. And when you make politics your religion and you worship at the altar of politics, this is what happens. You become mentally unhinged. You can't handle anyone with differences of your opinion, because this is your everything. This is your identity.
If your whole world is politics, you will be wholly miserable. That is just so obvious to me. I mean, did you guys watch Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah.
A chance you watch Game of Thrones? I mean, Game of Thrones, the whole thing is about in essence political power. People want to rule other people, right? And how does Game of Thrones end? It ends with basically everybody is dead except 5 guys sitting around the table at the end going, man, everyone we know is dead. And that's what politics is. Politics is a nasty, horrible game. And if you're going to try to find your salvation or your meaning or your purpose through politics, you will go nuts. So it's like, we talk about this stuff for a living, but I talk about it because I want it to have less of a role in our lives. Like, I want to make people aware that Joe Biden is not king, that Nancy Pelosi is not better than you, that AOC is in fact worse than you. These are important things for people. Yeah, these are things that people need to know, not because I think, oh, if only my people, the people I liked, if they had enough power, they could save us. No, they can't save us. We can save ourselves.
Well, and I think,
maybe.
And I think too, I mean,
probably not.
There's hope.
Knowing what you have done, which is, you just totally sign off of everything. You don't prefer to just like talk about politics all the time when you're off air, right?
No,
it's real life.
In a weird way, I'm actually less interested in politics now than ever, in that the culture war is important. The issues that we're discussing here are important, but politics, meaning, my God, did you see the Republicans voted blah, 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 and the Democrats voted this, and in the bill that they signed, we're going to send $10 billion to Pakistan for gender studies. It's like, this would make anyone insane. So I'm not that interested in that. What I'm interested in is the ideas that set up the system that then rules over us. That's interesting to me, not whether, X amount of people voted for the thing that we know is going to screw us one way or another.
Yeah, do you agree, Elijah?
Yeah, I would say that I've become the leader of a new movement called Dogecoin nationalism, which is a way of buying.
So I heard about this today actually on Twitter for the first time.
Explain the Dogecoin thing.
So the Dogecoin nationalism, essentially what this is I'm thinking about the culture war, is there is a joke cryptocurrency, which is basically, it means it's nothing. It's not a real currency. That is of a meme of a Shiba Inu, I believe it is, dog. And I happen to be one of the early adopters, so I happen to have made a lot of money on this, so that's a disclaimer. But it was like this joke. A bunch of people in chat rooms on Reddit and stuff were like, let's just dump a bunch of money into this fake currency so that we can manipulate it and we can show people that we can create our own currency against the government and create our own value. Well, my investment went up like 500% in a matter of like 2 days, which is absolutely insane. And it keeps rising and going up because people are inflating it, and we're creating our own sub-internet currency based off of a dog. And I have spread and told people that it's the nationalism to the Dogecoin. But really, on the serious note, the reason why it is funny though is because it shows the elites in power that, look, we really could create our own value system and our own currency. Yes, it's a bubble. Yes, it can pop. I'm not a lender. I can't legally encourage anyone to invest in anything since that's not my field. But I can tell you that I invested a lot in Dogecoin and I'm having a ton of fun. And if I lose it all, I don't care, because the moral of the lesson is we the people have the power and we give them the ability to represent us. But if they stop representing us, we don't have to storm the Capitol building. We can take it back through other means legally.
Yeah, well, okay, so while we're on that note really quickly, one of the other the topics that I saw today was that Google has deleted 100,000 negative reviews of the Robinhood app in their store, on their app store. They've just gone and deleted them entirely.
Nothing should surprise anyone. First off, I have $600 that the government gave me, and I'd love to put it in your special coin. So if you could just show me how to do that later, that would be very nice. Look, this is just about who has power and when they have it. So like, we know that horrible underbelly internet things happen on Reddit and all of these crazy websites, right? And then we know that these like good, funny things happen there and memes spread there and all those things. But when it then comes after one of their things, then we're going to clear out bad reviews and the rest of it. I'll just give you a very quick personal example on this. So when my book came out, I called it "Don't Burn This Book," knowing that people weren't going to physically burn the book, right? I didn't really. Well, I think maybe one or two people did.
Yeah,
but like, I didn't really. They burned the target that the book was in, but not the book itself. But I didn't expect that many people to burn the book. But what I did expect was exactly what they did: for them to coordinate on these websites, to go to Amazon, to attack the reviews, to make sure that Target has bad reviews, all of these things. And then we showed Amazon. We said, look, here are the websites that they're coordinating. They're telling people to copy and paste and how to lie about the book, and they'll say, here's one person who read one thing, so we all this stuff. And Amazon was just like, sorry, that's not the business we're in. We don't do that sort of thing. Anyway, I bring that up because it's like when it's Apple coordinating with an app that affects the system and they don't like what's happening, then they'll take care of stuff. But if the regular person has a problem on one of these sites, or I'm sure as I have been, I'm sure you have been doxxed and threatened and all of the crazy stuff that happens to us, it's like, for some reason, I can't get anyone on Reddit to respond to me about that, or any of, if you had a problem with Google, you're going to call them? What is there a 1-800 Google number? No one's been on the phone.
Can I get the monetization back on my YouTube because the people lied about me?
Right.
No, we can't do that, but we can erase downvotes on the inauguration of Joe Biden, which they did, because they were spam. And now that's the idea of this my truth, your truth, is like, anything that makes my people look bad is spam. Anything that makes you look bad is truth, because you're my enemy. And this deleting, it's funny, Tim Pool was like, I can't believe this. And I would say, I'm not a prophet, but I am a bit, but
your name's Elijah.
My name's Elijah. These are the days of Elijah. And I do stay in the weird parts of the internet, legal weird parts at least. And I do hibernate there. And one thing that I noticed was like, people said, oh my gosh, like right as they started stopping the selling, this is what actually happened, right? These apps stopped people from being able to buy the stock they wanted, which meant that they were manipulating artificially the market to drop the value, because they left the option conveniently to sell the stock. So you could dump your stock, but you couldn't buy it. And so they were there, and I started seeing this, and I wrote this on Twitter. I was like, it's going to be like a matter of days before you start seeing Facebook and big tech censor financial information. And then when that article came out, I said, watch these reviews get deleted. And then Facebook deleted a group where people shared information to help to create investments that hurt the billionaire hedge funds. And then they also erased the honest reviews of people who use the app. I mean, these tech companies and the media and the government are now aligned in a holy trifecta. Remember, disinformation, industrial complex, which spells DIC, which I can't say on this network, but that's what these people are. It's the disinformation industrial complex, and they're rewriting history. And it's scary, though, because like you said, there is real spam, and real spam happens, but if it's a Republican or conservative, they'll let that stick. But if you're one of theirs, and if you show allegiance to their Maoist party, and you are on board with their globalist Great Reset agenda, they will make sure that you survive and that you thrive, even when the truth works against you. And that's teaching a lesson for future generations. Like, if you get on board with us, you're gonna have a good life. It's scary.
All right, we gotta take a break. Back in a minute.
And I wish we could delete.
Dave, we talked about this yesterday on the show, but we're talking about big tech and censorship and all of that, and I feel compelled for you to talk more about locals, please.
Yeah, well, look, consistent with everything we've talked about here, big tech is not going to save us. It is going to drown us. It is here to destroy us. We gave it the power to do it. I think we're all to blame. We can all look in the mirror. If you want to listen to that great speech that V gave in V for Vendetta, if you're trying to figure out who's guilty, all you need to do is look in the mirror. We've all done it, right? We gave away our freedoms voluntarily. We didn't know what we were doing. We saw this magical thing called Twitter, and it was really cool, and you could connect with your favorite actor, and next thing you know, it's 5 years later, and you've wasted your entire life on it, right? We've all done this. We thought, oh, I'm going to get on Facebook, and I'm going to connect with my high school buddy, and next thing you know, he's a white nationalist, and you're an Antifa person, and you're trying to murder each other. So what I thought is, how do we take the power away from that? Well, what is it that most people really want online? And I think they just want a home that is theirs, and that's what we're building with Locals. So it's as if we're home builders. We're building digital homes where you own the audio, you own the video, you own the data, you own the content, you set the rules. If someone goes into Elijah's Locals and they're paying you because it's gated, just the way you have a fence at your house, walls work. Isn't it crazy? So we have fenced gated communities. It costs a couple bucks. You decide how much you want to charge people. I charge $5, but sometimes people give more. It's up to them. And by the way, if you contact me and you're a veteran or you're out of work or whatever, I let people in for free. But the idea of having a walled community as opposed to a zillion burner accounts and all of these people that just get in to destroy everything.
I know.
So you set your rules. So if someone wants to pay me to troll me, well, either I can make money off them or I can boot them out of my Locals community, but they can still be in someone else's. So there's no deplatforming in that regard. And I think we've done a nice job around speech. You cannot threaten violence, but that's against the laws of the United States. So you got bigger problems than Locals if you're doing that.
Right.
You can't coordinate terrorist activity, and we don't allow for porn and a couple other things. So no terrorist activity.
Yeah, Elijah's out.
Elijah, oh, that would have been a great spit take right there. You needed to just.
Yeah, I was like, I almost.
You really needed to let it go there. Thank you, though. I have a dinner thing. But that's what we're building. We're building something that I think is more in line with the way most people want to treat the internet. We've had a 20-year run that has not worked out the way we thought it was going to run. So now we know what just think about it this way. We all got on the internet at whatever year we got on, late 90s, early 2000s. We didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? You just remember like that time when you'd just be like, oh, downloading new apps. Oh my God, there's a new app, and there's a monkey, and there's a ball, and there's a
beer drinking app.
Yeah, there's a beer drinking app. Like just whatever it is. And when's the last time you downloaded anything? Because there's nothing new anymore. Tech has sort of eaten itself at this point, and I think that what we've done is create something new. So I would recommend people check out RubinReport.locals.com or go to locals.com and set up your own community, and you should be on there, and you should
pop
be
up
on
in a
there
bottle of Bonner wine with what are the bars called?
Built Bar.
With a Built
Bar, and go on locals.com.
It's funny, the Built Bar thing, because I've had a lot of problems with that. People are like, why, you're selling Built Bar?
HBO sponsored snack?
Yeah, that would be such an odd promotion for us to be running.
I mean, the fat content of Built Bar is obviously way higher than the fat content of Built Bar. I think we can agree on that.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude,
all right.
Yeah.
Wait,
it comes with bagpipes.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. We gotta take a break. Back in a minute.
It's a dumb statement. Okay, I gotta go live on something in 6 minutes. So is this just your out closer?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, before we have to go, don't forget, find these guys wherever they're at. They're on YouTube. I know Dave is on Locals, obviously.
Not wherever we're at, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, don't find them on the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just have to be clear.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Slightly Offensive on YouTube. Both of them can be found on BlazeTV. Obviously, Slightly Offensive on BlazeTV and the Rubin Report on BlazeTV as well. And, what are you, Rubin Report on Instagram, on social media,
yeah, my branding
Twitter.
guy's pretty solid. Yeah.
Okay, Rubin Report everywhere. Slightly Offensive.
Yeah, I always tell people now go to my link tree. That's like the new thing. Just go to Linktree and type in Slightly Offensive, and it will give you everywhere where we're on. So that's like the new thing.
Well, you're much more organized than me. I guess I need to get on that. And you can go to blazetv.com/newsandwhy. Use promo code news. You can get $30 off of your annual subscription. That's going to save you some cash. And you can know that you are getting the truth, the real truth out there. So make sure that you check out these gentlemen's programs and don't sleep on that subscription promo code. That is news, promo code news at blazetv.com/newsandwhy. Enjoy your weekend. No politics, right? No politics. Thanks for joining me, guys.